And we are losing the INTZ as it's instantly banned out. That's been a support ban taken from other regions. Normally we see the crashed here. GeO are making an adaptation.
I feel like we're going into a higher plane, TJ, because the continuation is
We've ascended.
We've had the crash bans that were continuously in there, and I feel like they've listened to the Valor series, they listened to you and I, and they said, you know what? Maybe we shouldn't ban the crashed.
The Murad gets removed as well. Jungle ban, and it'll be Florentino on the opposing side, joined by Sephiroth for the powerful characters bans.
Yeah, interesting to see that Murad ban. We typically don't see those target bans quite as much, unless it's something like an Angra, but they do decide to get rid of that. Very interesting decision here from GeO.
The Elsu still on the cards, needs to be banned out. Richter normally joins him, but instead GeO are continuing to ban out characters they feel are strong. Maybe taking a page out of Nova Esports Europe's book and focus banning as opposed to banning out the powerful characters. This means that INTZ have to shift their bans as well. They're going to actually maybe let this Elsu through. I think that would be a mistake.
I am perplexed by these bans from GeO because I'm taking a look at MixRJ's hero pool. He's played Mina once. He's played a great Alice twice. He's played Annette, and I'm not really sure what that's targeting. Also, the Murad ban, we're looking at Horus because he is going to be the jungler that's replacing Myth. So interesting that they have those notes on the side of INTZ.
Richter, the first lock-in for GeO Esports, an immediate rebuttal of Omen and the Thane for INTZ.
I really like the Thane coming through. That's something we've seen a little bit more of recent times. I'm a big fan of stupidly tanky supports, and Thane does not die.
We have seen throughout the entire history of the Arena of Valor competitive scene, Thane pop up time in and time out because of his tankiness as well as what he provides for the team. But GeO Esports is going to immediately rebuttal with some early game pressure of the Ryoma and the scaling of the Natalia.
It does not matter if you're stupidly tanky if there's that much damage to counter.
Indeed.
Yeah, Natalia is a counter to the massively tanky heroes because she's able to burn right through it all. And oh, hello.
She is a very good counter to tanky characters, but she's a static mage, which means someone like a Talanas can really prey on them as they stand still for a while.
Speaking of prey, we have Prey-Ta, who likes to stand still.
Yes!
Oh my goodness.
And just like that, you know, I figured when I assumed when I would show up to Season 3 that the insane just everything of Latin America would go away. I would think that Latin America would be able to reel it in and not be the crazy force that we have expected them to be. But by gosh, I'm done. I can't even do anything.
You cannot deny
because
the
now
you cannot deny it.
What
it is
confluence
here.
of events?
It's back. My cords are everywhere. All right, TJ, what do we got?
We got crack.
Jump. What confluence of events did we have to have for this to happen? We had to have the Natalia come out, and then the Prey to counter, and then we had to have the Grag to counter. What is happening?
Sorry, I'm okay now. Crack is here, and yes, you're right. He is here to counter the Praetor, because Praetor is an even more static mage, absolutely no mobility options, only one small CC option.
Hey.
If you can land Devil's Chain, the Praetor is yours to devour.
Pause. Before we get into that, we're going to get there. We also have to remember the final pickup for INTZ. Wonder Woman. I know you're going to talk a lot about the GeO Esports lineup. Before we get to that, let's talk about INTZ. Let's reel it in for a couple seconds before you get another chain to throw out there. INTZ, how much more complete is their composition with the Wonder Woman thrown in?
That gives them a little bit of frontline pressure. The Wonder Woman gives them an extra stun. That's a very good engage tool, as well as a disengage tool, particularly into a Grak maybe. If you're getting people pulled in, the Wonder Woman is the best survivability jungler you could have run, except maybe a Zephyrs.
Yeah, this is your cookie-cutter fortress lineup that you like to talk about, because Wonder Woman is another frontline hero, so is Omen, so is Thane.
But
yeah,
there's a better fortress comp on the other side.
Because he's got Grak.
Because he's got Grak. Because if anyone tries to take a team fight versus you, the World Devourer is decisively one of the best team fight ults in the game, right up there with that metamorphosis from Crashed on those support characters. And they have so much to punish a good pull, a good World Devourer.
The most difficult part about all of this is if I had to look at the compositions, despite the fact that a Grak is in that lineup, I actually prefer GeO's team fighting abilities and what they can have. But gentlemen, it's time to get started. TJ, D2, match 1, game number 1, GeO Esports and the delightful Grak versus INTZ.
He attack, he smack, and that's right, he's back. It's Grak at the front lines. As we do see Elwind, my favorite player, picking up my favorite character.
Oh my goodness, and going to go potentially here for the Golem pull. This is a trick seen all around solo queue, where you just go and pull the Golem and slow down the jungler, and TJ is literally dancing a dance, folks.
Because I got Grak. I don't even care who wins at this point.
By the way, last thing we didn't point out, I know this is going to make you even more happy, and to my chagrin, but there's even one more combo in there, and that's Natalia Grak combo.
Oh yes, Natalia Grak is possibly the best support mage combo in all of Valor series, because the Grak can keep people isolated for so long. The sustained single focus damage of a Natalia is perfect.
Well, I was thinking more of the Devil's Chain into Nova, Arcane Nova, Arcane Spirits combo. That is devastating. It will kill literally anyone in the game.
Padaria wants to get into the enemy jungle early on for INTZ, and he will be able to catch Lycan off a bit, but Lycan just says, no thanks.
Padaria is so cheeky.
In the early game, we brushed over it, mainly because I was still yelling about Grak. Elwind did push in with the enemy team, and they did steal away a little buff. So GeO got the slight early game lead, and they'll get a bigger one as Mudinho is barely bursted down beneath the tier 1 tower.
A beautiful station there by White. This will set them up perfectly to go for this Abyssal Dragon coming up.
With 2 seconds left, it is the perfect time to get a pick, and as expected, GeO Esports turn that kill into pressure on the Abyssal.
And this is really poor because Fusion wants to get this.
Fusion will be nearby. There's the bracelets for the stun. White does get it. Now Fusion's in trouble. The stuns, the Grak, he's hooked in, and Fusion is gone.
It's the reverse combo. It's the Arcane Nova into the Devil Chain, and they're able to take him out easily.
You're stunned up, then you're pulled in. It's equally devastating, and this means there'll be a shift towards tower pressure down in the bot lane. Something else Grak is great for, because anyone trying to defend the tower statically can be hooked out from under it.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be a difficult issue for INTZ to deal with the entire game. And the funny thing is, once they start to push in, try to take out the Grak, that's when Natalia's actually shine, is when people come straight on into her.
You can't take out the Grak, Daniel. It's literally impossible.
I don't think that's an accurate
You can't kill dreams.
Sure. That's a little bit different, though. I don't know if Grak qualifies as a dream.
He does for me. Smith will be drifting back into the jungle, continuing to play that jungling role for the team instead of White, which is curious to me, because I'd like to see, especially a Lindis, be getting the vast majority of jungle, but they're allowing some of it over to the Ryoma.
Right, because Ryoma's going to be able to, if he's able to win that fight in the Abyssal lane, that will do wonders for them if they're able to shut down Mudinho here in that bottom lane. I want to talk about these interesting builds here from Menga, though. He goes for the double Pen to the Faith and the Hermes Select just to get around quickly and be that buddy for Elwind.
I know I'm harping on Grak, but Elwind builds flashy boots.
I love it. Many hooks.
Reducing the cooldown a little bit on those.
15% cooldown reduction on the boots. That's why you get it these days.
Oh, Padaria, though, does win the top lane battle. Now it'll be Fusion diving in on Mengi with a nice little Plague Bomb. They push him away, and the lasso pulls them back in. They might not have Grak, but they do have Wonder Woman.
They absolutely do, and that is the power of that combo.
GeO do push this mid lane tower in the meantime, and White and Smith will get it. Will they get away, though? That's the question. Smith is the stun, White is the damage, but it's not quite enough. And surely, Smith, you need to... Oh, the flicker rolled in! That was a good World Devour, but no follow-up. They'd already lost White.
Yeah, slightly late there. If Wind or if White were alive, that might have made a difference, but they're unable to take care of this bottom lane, unfortunately.
Fusion gets hooked in, eats a few tower shots for the trouble. He'll now turn his wrath towards an Abyssal Dragon that he's doing absurd damage to, may I know.
He is that jungler. He does have the jungler item.
Oh, that's good lethal raise, though. Big damage on Fusion. Has to stun up. Mengi will drift away while Elwind takes the front line.
Smith.
The Abyssal will be taken by INTZ.
Smith snipes out Fusion over the wall, though. That is the power of Ryoma. He has massive range on that sword.
But the Abyssal, I believe, went to INTZ, which means that overall, I think that fight went in their favor.
Right, they're starting to climb themselves back into the game, and that's what they needed to do, because Wonder Woman is decidedly more effective in the early game when she's coming from the jungle. She has those engaged potentials, and to make sure that she has the farm going for the rest of her side, she needs to make that work early.
Mixer J is having, I think, a tough act to follow. We talked about stupidly tanky supports. I did, and I always loved them, and Thane is a great example. Grak is better, because the World Devourer is so good in team fights. It gives you so much shielding. You can just brawl.
Right, absolutely. It helps you just live through so much when he's able to get that off. The problem is getting it off in the first place. Thane, though, he has a passive that keeps him alive. When he gets pretty low on health, he restores so much of it, and he has resistance damage.
Well, he gets pulled in there, and Mixer J uses that as a boost, just diving ever further forward. This tower will survive on like 1 HP.
Will it?
Sure, like, White can dive in and clip it, but he seems uninterested, at least for now. He'll play around for a bit, then do exactly that. Nope, minion targeting first.
Minions first, wave before plays, TJ.
Sure. There we go.
Finally got it. It's okay.
Anticipation was kind of killing me there. So, INTZ are in trouble. They've lost the early tower lead. They might be able to grab one onto Smith, though, as he gets a little bit over-aggressive. The rest of the team is there to back him up. World Devour from Elwood. It's perfect, but it's not enough. He's stunned out of it. The lethal raise gets damage on Mixer J, but it's not enough, and Elwood himself has been pulled forward, chucked down. Like it's in trouble as Padario lands a great death's embrace, shading in his counter and Mengi. That's actually great work, and it's INTZ out on top.
Yeah, 0 deaths there for INTZ. Beautifully done for them. First with the bracelets of submission coming up from Fusion to stun out that World Devourer that you love so much. And also, Horus did an amazing job on Praetor there. I'm very impressed, just knocking people left and right with his bombs in order to just knock them around and make sure that they get those kills.
That was a matchup I actually didn't think about, but the bracelets of submission is one of the longest range stuns in the game, which makes it perfect to deal with Grak.
Also, you know what knocks him out as well is Horus's bomb, his second ability, which I'm forgetting the name of, but it's
Plague Bomb.
Plague Bomb, there you go. The Plague Bomb, it will knock you out of the position you are in, like you just saw there. Thank you, Horus, for pointing it out. And that will push the Grak out of his World Devourer.
Which we've now seen a couple times. Elwin's kind of struggling to make those flicker ults work. If he wants to get a full World Devourer off, he has to catch the Wonder Woman and the Praetor within it so that they can't stun him.
And the Telenos, because Telenos can use ult as well.
This might be a rough matchup for Grak.
Did I point out too many stuns on the side of INTZ?
Actually. A lot of range stuns, which is a very ideal anti-Grak defense.
Yeah, and that will help immensely if INTZ is able to stun that out and prevent that engage here from L1, who is a very fast boy here with that Ring of the Fiend and the ability to get around that quickly.
Yeah, the Ring of the Fiend, the support item we've seen a lot of in the second position there for the Grak. That will give him a speed boost button. You'll see an orange ring on the screen. That gives a 50% speed boost to not just him, but any allies within the ring, while he also gains vision.
Absolutely, that will help him so much. That nearly missed there. One other item I want to point out here, which is actually a core item for Praetor, but no one else really, is the Zavai Hunter. That gives you 50% attack speed for 4 auto attacks, and that really helps when he pops his Disciple of the Plague, his ultimate that allows him to go into basically a mage auto attacker.
Yeah. Once he pops his ultimate, all of his attacks do a lot more damage, and he can move while casting Plague Spectre. That's very good during team fights, especially with the extra bonus damage the item gives him. That's in the third item, the little sword thing you can see in purple.
Exactly, and you just saw there that Mango was able to get out by the skin of her teeth with that Hermes Select, working out quite a bit in her favor. She actually has the boomstick as well. She's doing so much damage if she ever hits the Arcane Spirits or her Lethal Raise.
Mangi on the Natalia will do a ton of burst, but they need people to set it up. And INTZ are not taking team fights, instead focusing on the split lane.
Yeah, this is beautiful from them, just getting that farm on the bottom lane, getting those towers.
And they'll even poke away at GeO. Despite GeO, it felt like taking an early game lead and an early game team fight advantage. There haven't been any team fights since then.
Right, and GeO is just being run around here by INTZ. It's a beautiful play here from INTZ, making sure they don't take fights. You saw GeO.
World Devour, lethal raise, but Mixer J, you've got so much HP.
That,
Do not be fooled. Literally any other character in the game would have died to that.
That is the damage resistance that he gets when he's under a certain amount of health. Under 20% health, he gets that 20% damage resistance, and he heals a significant chunk of his health for over 4 seconds.
But he's got to sit back for now, recalling to the base, and that opens up an opportunity to grab this Enraged Abyssal Dragon for GeO. They asked for a little bit more objective focus, and they already have some. Oh, White, that's trouble. Oh, Fusion with the dive. He assassinates the backline. Now the lethal race is there for an answer. Leica with the mark of the hunter. Cannot quite get the kill. Dark Blessing does not save him. Fusion's back. Fusion's got the kill. And Mengi just has to run as Horus plays melee Praetor into the entire GeO Esports side.
Oh my goodness, I was looking for INTZ to go in because they were so low, and Fusion answers my wish, gets in there. Even though the buff was there, he takes it away, and he's able to take that fight.
And now it's a rough day if you're a GeO Esports fan. They've got to play behind tower in all but the mid lane where they've still got their tier 1.
By the way, that all happened because they were so desperate to take it that they all took the AoE damage from the Abyssal Dragon on purpose, TJ.
Plague bombed back from the tower. GeO lose a mid lane as well.
And that's what INTZ want to do. Even though they don't have the buff, they have the gold lead. They're going to run GeO around continuously, trying to get as many towers as possible.
Oh, finally, they have the damage to burst down Mixer J, and they will. Nicely done.
It only took 4 heroes.
But it was enough.
Eventually. I don't think he had his passive up, though. That's the reason why. That's the real reason why.
Spent the passive in that brawl in mid, and now it's not available for the save in bot lane.
Yeah, Thade's like, normally I can take that. Normally.
It's an off day.
Yeah, I'm just not feeling it right now.
Let's talk about this Telenas build if we can, because that's looking mighty scary.
Absolutely. She has so much damage to her side with the Clava Sancti. The Beast helps her because she gets lifesteal from both the magic damage and the physical damage that she does when she pops Eagle Eye.
That's the orange sword against a green background in the 4th position. It's the best lifesteal item in the game. Smith in trouble up top, will get stunned out. White's here to save him, but White, you're in trouble yourself now. Elwyn needs to be good. Smith back with the Blade of Eternity. Elwyn does slow down the fight. They've got a lot of allies nearby as Horus is pulled in, but he's not quite into the lethal raise. Mengi just has to flee. Elwyn, deal World Devour, because now is a great time to spend it, and he's down it because he's already used it once that fight.
I love how Mixer J, though, he's so aggressive going in there. He pops the essence of the windshield for Horus and then just jumps in even farther because he don't care. He's a Thane. He will 1v3.
And he didn't need to 1v3 because the rotates from INTZ were on point.
By the way, this Padara does have Fenris too, but not so great when you're fighting 1v2.
Nope. Lycan comes through. Wise as well, and White finally does get a kill for his team. This Dark Slayer's been spotted. Smith's nearby.
Well, they're not able to
Elwyn. This could get dangerous. Fusion's pulled out. White wasn't able to get the steal. Oh, the lasso! Fusion, you're nuts! I don't think it'll save him, but it does force them to spend a lot of abilities to get him down.
Yeah, that was actually huge for INTZ because if he doesn't go aggressive there, then the rest of the team does not get out. So great play by him, but they are playing 3v5 for a while now.
Lycan will be able to grab a tower despite that Dark Slayer being taken. It looks to be GeO Esports who get an advantage from it. That'll change with the Drake summoning if they use it right.
Right. At the end of the day, GeO, they get 2 kills for that because remember, they were only taking the Darkslayer because they had 1 on bot.
Oh, another good hook. The Devil's Chains grabs Mixer J and Mudinho. The lethal ray with Arcade Nova. It's brutal. Horus goes down. 3 kills off 1 combo. And the tower to fall. It's Grack.
It's all flipped in 1 combo, like you mentioned. The lethal rays come up for so much damage.
But Mixer J wants to get back in. He's got Elwyn low, able to burst him down with the King's Glory. Smith should take this mid tower if he's smart about it, but he'll just bail under the threat of so many players.
Yeah, doesn't want to give this game right back to INTZ after that amazing comeback that they started to push there. And by the way, that King's Glory does percentage damage, true damage to the other side. It is so powerful against low opponents like Elwyn was.
It's rare to see a Grack low, but that was an example of it.
I don't know about that.
Well, normally Grack has a little bit more regeneration, but that needs to come from items. Unlike Thane, it's not a passive, so we should see a Gaia standard built relatively soon. That gives him passive regeneration, although it's White who needed it as he gets burned down in mid.
Oh no, I'm not really sure how White got caught out there, but that he can't let that happen. He is one of the main sources of damage outside of the Natalia, so getting cut out here means that INTZ can push forward, especially because they smartly popped the Drake very, very far back so that the minions can be buffed for as long a period as possible.
We said, don't worry about the damage that GeO's doing now because the Drake's still got to come. It is out now, and it is getting towers back to INTZ.
And if they get a bunch of towers, there's really no coming back for GeO.
GeO, Smith will get a kill. Is it a trade, though, as the rest of INTZ want to chase? He's distracting so many players. He will get out. Horus tries to chase. Smith will go for the duel. He's got damage. The pinwheel to close. It's going to be an ultimate pop from Horus. He does survive. Smith's back with the Blade of Eternity, and he'll be shut down for a second time. In the meantime, GeO have been defending the tower, though, and that means that trade is worth it.
Right, going and distracting that long really helped them to stabilize here, so hopefully that can be a good omen here for GeO, but not really helping them out if the Abyssal Dragon is taken.
And INTZ have their eyes on it instantly. Fusion going through, Horus joining him, and I don't think GeO can physically get there in time.
By the way, talking about Smith, that is the second charge of the Blade of Eternity that he popped there. He does have Desticle now, the final item that you see in his build, the Purple Scythe. But that's all he's going to have to his name. I'm actually curious what he's going to build in that fifth item. Looks like it's probably going to be the Fenrir's Tooth.
Smith's playing so well.
Yeah, absolutely. He just needs to do so much because he's constantly distracting and 1v1ing and doing all he can to make sure that INTZ doesn't continuously push in on GeO, because we have to be honest here, INTZ is just running them around the map. The only time GeO has been able to make anything happen is when they land a ridiculous combo on multiple members.
You say ridiculous, but with Grak, it's every day.
Well, it's going to have to be multiple times in one single day here for them to make sure that this happens.
GeO, perhaps with a tall task ahead of them, but it's certainly not impossible. INTZ did get the Abyssal Dragon, but because of the wave push that GeO got during that time, it's taking them a while to bring the buff to bear. They'll get one team fight at most out of it.
Right, in these late game situations, it's not actually all that great to have that Abyssal buff because you want the Darkslayer buff to push in on the towers. And it doesn't matter how good your team fighting is, if Grak and Natalia use their combo on you, you're going to die.
Elwyn playing behind, looking for that Grak hook. Devil's Chain chases Horus back, but he will survive it.
They're continuing to push in on 3 lanes. I like this from INTZ. I'm actually in favor of them being very passive right here because they could easily just throw this right now.
Oh, Horus pulled in. Nice play bomb to stay alive. Now Elwyn's down in response. That's absolutely beautiful from INTZ.
Great reactions there. Instantly flickers out, and they get that lasso of truth to bring him down.
Literally don't know how his thumbs are that fast. Lethal raise just to clear mid-wave. Nike pays for it. Now that's tower as well. Lycan dives in. White's chucked down by Padaria. This could be game. White's back. Blade of Eternity doesn't hurt him enough, though. The core itself is threatened. There is no wave, though. And that means it's trouble. Wave is here in the bottom lane. Can GeO stall it out? There's Smith and Lycan to go in. Lycan with the damage. Does get the wave clear. The core is safe, but all 3 high grounds have been lost.
Yeah, Lycan, I don't think he can stay alive, though.
Padaria goes to Smith. Smith himself, though, he doesn't take out the final minion. And that means the core's gone. INTZ take advantage of the mistake and do take game 1.
TJ, I don't think they had anything that they could do there. INTZ just too strong. Their macro too much for GeO. And I'm sorry, but Grak couldn't do it today.